So you made it.
I don't have. I walked out the here, oh my god, I got my money. Well, because I put the couch in and I go to the inn. And the inn stuff, I've never been here before, so. Like, okay, I usually go morning run, so this is my morning. Yeah.
Other spaces downstairs as well where people are at.
Oh, I see, okay. Yeah, well, if the talk is gonna be here, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, please. Here, I'll start setting it up this way. Okay, that's so cute.
So you're.
Oh.
Hello.
Didn't realize that was his stuff.
All right, perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been like Saturday didn't work.
Wait, it's the same way from yesterday, right?
Not the same like it's but it's the same account. So just
So we have the same project name as the previous project. It's okay. Yeah, it's completely different. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I'll also we have the GitHub report approved.
I guess we should let
That it was started yesterday.
Yeah.
other people who are there.
Should I get a name tag?
No, it's not necessary. Yeah, it seems feasible. Hours.
Wait, what's your name again? Rohan, R-O-H. Yeah, yeah.
Century.
Rohan. Cool.
Oh, Century's cool. Century first. I love everything since I've been supporting like Century's system.
What's your title?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Yesterday there was coffee or breakfast, but it's almost 11, so.
Unfortunately, there is Celsius drinks that have 200 milligrams of caffeine. I think that might be all the caffeine we're going to do. Right here, 6 Celsius drinks on the island, on the Kitchen Island right here. Turn, right here.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, Red Bull and Celsius. I think that's what they have for caffeine.
Oh, just for the drinks.
Yeah, they have caffeine in them, so during the day you can drink them.
I don't know, are we allowed to use this?
No,
Wait, I want to go to working.
everything not on the island.
All right, perfect. Cool.
There's a bunch of Facebook
I
videos.
might be able to staple my face. His face.
I used their toaster by accident.
Yeah, okay, we can see that.
Yeah. That's okay.
Breakfast is here.
Oh, okay.
Kind of late, but it's here.
Oh, yeah, I know, it's really good. You're sending it up to the Discord, right?
Yeah. Perfect. I gotta send it.
Cool, awesome. I guess.
I just called my charger. Pilot. Okay. Well, good thing that I was pretty close yesterday.
Okay, two more calls.
So people are hacking or. We'll show you around.
Or. I'll grab one, yeah. Alright, so.
Hi, I'm Amy. Ten.
Also, breakfast is here.
Alright, go ahead, everyone. Yes, this.
This is like crazy.
I don't know if it's the same.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh my gosh, I forgot to show you. But if you go down here, like outside, there's a you see everything. Absolutely everything.
There's also a talk starting in like a minute.
People come for food, so you actually you might get like a crowd. Yeah, you get a crowd. Well, I told them like
I think it's just very new. Yeah.
I was like, told you.
Entertaining while they eat.
Yeah, I felt so bad like yesterday. I was like, everyone's just
Processing.
No, it's not. So no one really asked me. Yeah.
I just think that's a joke.
Yeah.
Serious?
Chillest night I've ever. Do you have the paid account or no? No. Oh. I have a paid account. I have a paid account. It gives you access to different features. You want to set that properly.
There's also pizza coming at 12:30 if you want more savory options.
Mark down. No, mark down.
All right, good morning, hackers, and those joining us on the live. We are going to be starting with talks. We have Rohan, an ML engineer from Sentry. So for the people getting food, please come stay and just like maintain it like a little bit quiet. But yeah, thanks for coming.
Is that in the dev post? Is that where?
It is in the dev post, I can also.
Okay.
I have short-term memory. How did I still know your name?
And could I get a warm welcome to Rohan? Woo!
Hello everyone, I'm here to talk to you about co-creative debugging with AI. I'll get into more what I mean by that first. A bit about me, I am a MLE at Sentry. I've been here about 10 months. If you don't know, Sentry is the leading error monitoring platform, aka we just find bugs in your code in production. Before that, I was at Georgia Tech, and besides standard internships, I was also active in research there in the space of human AI co-creativity. And I'll get more into that soon. Now, how do I even get into this area of interest? I would say it starts with regular creativity. I was always interested in art and music, and sure, sometimes I do these with other people, but these are mostly solo hobbies. But I would still argue that they are co-creative, because the music I can create with my guitar very much depends on the notes that are available, or where I turn the knobs on it, or what I turn the knobs to on my amplifier. With painting, it very much depends on the colors I have and the brushes I have. And it puts a lot of constraints on me, but also gives me a lot of flexibility to express myself. So really, I'm co-creative with those physical objects. Eventually got more into computers, got interested in game dev, mobile dev, and there I could just write a few lines of text, and then the computer would do all these cool animations, render 3D objects, and it would let me create things that I could not create with a paintbrush, for example. So I'd say I'm co-creative with the computer here. Of course, working with other people is co-creative. There's some interesting examples, like maybe you work with clay, and then you take the affordances of a camera on that clay, and then you take the frames of that and put it through a computer, and you make a video, and then you get cool things like claymation. Or you could go boring and have a Google Doc, and you're just working with people on the doc. But you couldn't do that live on a piece of paper, so that's still a unique affordance. Or maybe just autocorrect. That's also co-creative, I think. My point is, co-creativity is not a new thing with LLMs and AI. It's always been a thing between humans and other humans, humans and physical objects like paint and instruments, humans and computers pre-AI, and then of course humans and AI now. And it can be used for creating art, music, technology, documents, anything you want. So just keeping that in mind, when I got into college, I was interested in doing research, and I saw this lab working on a project called Creative Wand. And this was pre-ChatGPT, so no fancy transformer-based LLMs, but it was about how you could still use whatever AI existed at the time to augment human creativity. And that looked like this really ugly storytelling experience. We could only have 10 sentences at a time, and you had to edit each sentence individually. And the way to do it is you would just select one action out of this. You could choose a topic for a sentence. You could get a general story tip. You could check if the sentence was off topic, or get a sentence suggestion. This is obviously terrible user experience, and no one would ever write a story like this. But that's it's okay, it's research. And the point was to isolate these interactions on the side and see what you can get out of those. So what interactions could we have? We came up with this design space. 3 dimensions. You could have human-initiated or AI-initiated communications, basically who starts the interaction. You could have elaborative or reflective communications, that is, creating new content on the page or operating on existing content on the page. Or you could have local or global, which means talking about a very specific piece of content or the whole thing. And then when we want to evaluate which of those dimensions actually matter, which one should we design for, we can do ablations. We can give the user a subset of those communications and evaluate the experience for them. So back to this, a reflective communication might be checking if a sentence is off topic, or getting a sentence suggestion. Getting a sentence suggestion is also elaborative, and checking off topic is reflective. And we could give the user a subset of these simple communications we designed in this terrible user experience and see which one is somewhat better. And just to summarize that, with 120 human subject studies, we found basically more coverage of the design space is better. You want to have all of the dimensions, and that means a user will feel that they have more control over the experience, they can poke and prod at the model, they can express themselves better, they enjoy it better, it's more immersive, they can explore it, it feels more collaborative, and most importantly, the results on the page feel more worth the effort. So I took this lesson, and then I graduated, and I got a job at Sentry, and again, if you haven't used Sentry, you put on an SDK, and then as your app runs in production, we capture any errors or other bugs that happen. So then, logically, Sentry was thinking, now that AI is a thing, could we just automatically fix all your bugs for you? Vibe debugging, I guess, as the counterpart to vibe coding. So, autofix is the idea. Sentry captures all this data and shows it to a human. So, groups issues together, shows you logs, stack traces, the line of code that caused the error, variable values at the time of execution, traces to connect your front end and your back end, for example. So take all this data, feed it into an LLM agent, and then have it log what it's doing as it uses tools and looks at different pieces of code in your code base, and then it's going to print out the root cause. Now that seems great on paper, but often AI is not perfect, so if it gets wrong, then you just wasted 2 minutes watching this run. Like, these logs are not helpful, like, you don't learn anything from that, and if the root cause is wrong, that's a waste of your time. And even if it's right, how do you know it's right? It's just telling you something that is the answer,